Walk past any American porch this July and count the dead containers. The petunias that got leggy and stopped blooming. The impatiens that fried the first week of real heat. Every single one of those containers will be replaced next spring. Same money, same hope, same result. The gardeners whose containers still look spectacular in September made one different decision. They planted perennials built for full sun instead of annuals designed to look good on a garden center shelf. Today, I am giving you 8 of them. Every single one comes back every year. Every single one blooms harder in heat than in cool weather. Every single one handles the conditions that kill everything else in your sunniest spot. Drop your US state or USDA zone in the comments right now. Full sun performance varies significantly by zone, and I want to make sure every recommendation today actually fits where you are growing. I read every single one. Let's go. Plant 1. Coneflower. Echinacea purpurea. Here is what most gardeners have never considered about coneflower in a container. The restricted root space forces the plant to focus energy upward rather than outward. The result is more concentrated bloom production, tighter compact form, and a plant that fits a pot beautifully without sprawling. A coneflower in the right container performs better than it does in the ground. That is not a compromise. That is an upgrade. Hardy in USDA, zones 3 through 9. Powwow Wildberry produces vivid rose-purple flowers on a compact plant under 20 inches, the best variety for smaller containers. Magnus produces the largest flower heads of any standard variety. Cheyenne Spirit delivers a full spectrum of coral, orange, yellow, and purple, all on compact, well-behaved plants. Do not deadhead every spent bloom. Leave seed heads standing through winter. Goldfinches and chickadees feed on them from October through February. Your container earns its place on your porch 12 months of the year. Every 3 to 4 years, divide the clump. One plant becomes 8 to 10. At current nursery prices, that is $80 to $150 worth of free plants from a single morning with a garden fork. Container size minimum, 3 gallons. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours. Well-draining mix. That is the complete list. Tell me in the comments, what state are you in and do you grow coneflower in a container or only in the ground? Drop it below. Plant 2. Lavender. Lavandula. There is a reason lavender has been planted near doorways and seating areas across every culture that had access to it for thousands of years. The fragrance it releases when a warm breeze passes through it is something you cannot buy in a candle store. You have to grow it. Hardy in USDA, zones 5 through 8 for most English varieties. Phenomenal handles heat and humidity across zones 6 through 9 better than any other lavender available to American gardeners. Hidcoat stays compact, deep purple, and is the most reliable zone 5 performer. Grosso produces the highest fragrance intensity of any lavender variety. If scent is your priority, this is the one. Here is what almost no gardening content addresses about lavender in containers. Terracotta is the ideal pot material. Porous, breathable, and naturally wicks excess moisture from the root zone. A lavender plant in terracotta with perlite amended soil outperforms the same variety in plastic or glazed ceramic every single time. The container material is not an aesthetic choice. It is a performance choice. Never fertilize lavender, not once all season. Rich nutrients produce soft, weak growth and reduce fragrance. The essential oils that create both the scent and the natural mosquito-repelling properties increase when the plant is slightly hungry. Neglect is the correct technique. After the first bloom, cut back by 1/3 into green growth, never into woody stems. It returns fuller and more fragrant every time. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. This channel releases real zone-specific money-saving content every single week. Free. 2 seconds. Do it now. Plant 3. Black-Eyed Susan, Rudbeckia fulgida Goldsturm. Black-Eyed Susan blooms July through October, precisely when every other container on your street is declining. When your neighbor's petunias are burnt and leggy in August, your Goldsturm container is just hitting its stride. The timing advantage of this plant is one of the most strategically valuable things you can put on a porch. Hardy in USDA, zones 3 through 9. Goldsturm specifically, not generic Black-Eyed Susan, was developed for its extended bloom period and compact upright habit. Generic varieties sprawl. Goldsturm stays tidy, productive, and container appropriate from season 1 through season 5 and beyond. Leave the seed heads standing through winter. Goldfinches, house sparrows, and dark-eyed juncos feed on them actively from October through February. Your container is functional wildlife habitat 12 months of the year. Container size minimum, 12 inches diameter. Full sun. Lean soil. This North American native evolved in lean prairie conditions. Rich amended mix produces lush foliage and reduced bloom. Give it lean conditions and it blooms harder than almost anything else on this list. Hit the like button right now. Every like puts this information in front of another gardener spending $60 every spring on sun annuals dead by September. 1 tap. Plant 4. Catmint. Nepeta X facani. Deer evaluate plants by scent before they ever attempt to eat them. Catmint's aromatic oils register as a repellent at the approach stage, before the deer is even close enough to taste it. Unlike spray repellents that wash off in the first rain and need reapplying every 2 to 3 weeks, catmint is the repellent. Always active, all season, year after year without a single additional action from you. Hardy in USDA, zones 3 through 8. Walker's Low is the gold standard, mounding to 18 inches with cascading lavender blue flower spikes that spill naturally over container edges in a way that looks deliberately designed. Six Hills Giant grows taller and more upright, right for a container where you want vertical presence. Full sun is not just preferred for catmint, it is the variable that determines bloom density. A catmint in partial sun produces perhaps 40% of the flower density of the same plant in full blazing sun. For south-facing porches and exposed patios, catmint performs at a level partial sun gardeners never see. Cut back hard by half immediately after the first bloom flush. A complete second wave of flowers follows within 3 weeks and carries through late summer. 2 full flowering seasons from 1 container at 0 additional cost. Plant 5. Sedum. Stone crop. Every other plant on this list needs water at some interval that requires your attention. Sedum does not operate on your schedule, it operates on its own. Sedum leaves store water in their tissue as a biological reserve the plant draws on during drought. An established sedum in a container survives 6 to 8 weeks without watering and emerges without permanent damage. That performance level exists nowhere else in full sun container perennial gardening. Hardy in USDA, zones 3 through 9. Autumn Joy transitions from pale pink buds in late summer to deep rose at peak and finishes in rich copper bronze that persists through winter, providing architectural container structure long after blooming ends. Purple Emperor has deep burgundy foliage from the moment it breaks dormancy, one of the few container perennials that earns its visual space before it ever produces a flower. Matrona grows tall and architectural with burgundy-flushed stems and soft pink blooms, the most dramatic sedum for a larger statement container, the most common mistake with sedum in containers. Premium potting mix and regular fertilizing makes it floppy and disappointing. Lean, gritty, well-draining mix keeps the stems strong, the color intense, and the plant performing exactly as it was designed. Give it your worst lean soil. That is where it excels. Subscribe right now. Hit the bell. Every week this channel puts out content at this level. The next video is already coming. Make sure it finds you. Plant 6. Gaillardia. Blanket flower. This plant grows wild from Canada to Mexico in conditions of full sun, zero irrigation, and lean sandy soil that would fail most ornamental plants. Every cultivated variety carries that prairie DNA. Your hottest, driest, most exposed container position is not a challenge for Gaillardia. It is home. Hardy in USDA, zones 3 through 10. One of the broadest hardiness ranges of any full sun perennial on this list. Arizona sun is compact, under 12 inches, and blooms so prolifically from June through October, it won the All-America Selections Award, the most rigorous performance testing program in American horticulture. Goblin is slightly taller, with classic deep red and yellow bicolor blooms. Fanfare delivers reflexed tubular petals in coral and gold that look unlike anything else on a porch. Here is what most gardeners miss about Gaillardia maintenance. Deadhead on a consistent schedule, every 10 to 14 days through peak bloom. That regular deadheading prevents seed development and redirects all plant energy into new flower production. The difference in bloom density between a consistently deadheaded Gaillardia and a neglected one is dramatic and visible from across the yard. Plant 7. Agastache, hummingbird mint. The first time a hummingbird hovers at your container 3 feet from your face while you are sitting on your porch with a morning coffee, you will understand exactly why this plant is on this list. And once it happens, you will never have a container garden without Agastache again. Hardy in USDA, zones 5 through 10, depending on variety. Blue Fortune is the most cold hardy. Tall lavender blue spikes from midsummer through hard frost, consistently rated among the best-performing Agastache varieties in university extension trial programs across America. Kudos Coral delivers vivid coral orange blooms that hummingbirds work from dawn to dusk. Ava produces upright violet-purple spikes with exceptional heat tolerance through the full brutality of an American midsummer. Here is the insider fact most content misses about Agastache. It is a mint family member. The aromatic foliage carries essential oils that make it naturally resistant to aphids, spider mites, and soft-bodied insects. A container of Agastache runs passive pest management while simultaneously attracting hummingbirds and producing months of bloom. 3 functions. 1 plant. Deadhead spent spikes by cutting back to the next developing side branch. Fresh spikes emerge continuously as long as you keep removing finished ones. Plant 8. Dianthus. Garden pinks. Every plant on this list earns its place through bloom performance and cold hardiness. This one earns it through something none of the other 7 can offer. Fragrance at sitting level, not from a tall plant you walk past, from a low mounding plant you are sitting next to on your porch. On a still evening, Dianthus fills the air around your seating area with a clove spice fragrance that is unlike anything else in container gardening. Hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9. Firewitch is the most cold-hardy and drought-tolerant variety available. Vivid magenta pink blooms with fragrance so intense it won Perennial Plant of the Year from the Perennial Plant Association. Kahori produces soft coral pink blooms with exceptional heat tolerance, the best Dianthus choice for zones 7 through 9. Paint the Town series delivers the most vivid color range in modern Dianthus breeding on compact, well-behaved container plants. Here is what most gardeners never discover about Dianthus. It is one of the very few perennials that tolerates slightly alkaline soil, pH 6.5 to 7.5, better than acidic conditions. If your tap water is slightly alkaline, common across large portions of the American Midwest and Southwest, Dianthus actually benefits from it while other container perennials are gradually stressed. Matching this plant to your local water chemistry is a performance advantage most gardeners never think to use. Deadhead consistently. After the main bloom flush, shear back by 1/3. A genuine second bloom follows in late summer and fall. Here is the complete setup before you spend a single dollar. Container size. 12 inches diameter minimum for every plant on this list. Smaller containers dry out too fast in full sun and create root zone temperature extremes that stress even the most heat-tolerant plants here. Soil mix. 50% quality potting mix, 30% coarse perlite, 20% compost. For lavender, Gaillardia, sedum, and agastache, increase perlite to 40%. These plants want lean drainage more than nutrition. Light-colored containers in zones 7 through 10. Dark containers in full sun raise root zone temperature by up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That increase impairs root function and reduces bloom production across every plant on this list during peak summer heat. One container color decision protects your entire investment. Every spring, remove the top 2 inches of potting mix and replace with fresh compost and slow-release granular fertilizer. 10 minutes per container, once per year. That is your complete annual maintenance. 8 perennials, 8 containers. Your hottest, sunniest, most difficult outdoor position. Every plant here was built for exactly that spot. Stop replacing them every spring and let them do what they were designed to do. Subscribe right now if you have not already. Hit the bell. Drop 2 things in the comments. What state or zone you are in, and which of these 8 you are planting first. I read every comment. Your answers shape the next video. Your sunniest spot just met its match. Go fill it.